cool. And yeah, we just have so much fun together. And my experience of going through trauma happened almost 11 years ago to this week,
Wow.
when my husband
Wow.
died October 4th. And he died of cancer. He was diagnosed with cancer 18 months before that. And I had little kids at the time. When he was diagnosed, they were 5 and 7. When he passed away, they were 6 and 8. I know now, they're now 18 and 20. And I look at that time, and I look at kids that age now and go, I can't believe how young they were.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and they're thriving now. They're really doing well. And I think it was a bit of a precursor for me. It was a time for me to help to awaken to a greater awareness, to greater possibilities in my life. A lot of times that happens when a crisis happens.
Yeah.
It can pull you into the surf or help you bob up to a greater what's up above the
Wow.
the
What a
ocean,
great, what
and
is that, a
it's up to
metaphor?
us to choose that. Yeah,
Yeah.
right, to try to figure that out. And I think that all that happened to me, and how I did get pulled under many times, and different experiences, and started things, stopped things. And, and some people might think of failures, but we know failures are ways to grow and experience.
Right.
That it helped me for this time to help others as well. Because what I went through 11 years ago, many, many people are feeling with with the pandemic, the lockdown, the deaths,
Yeah.
the all of the upheaval that's happening is, I believe, a reflection of, and I'm, very optimistic. Not everyone would feel the same way I do, but that it's a great awakening that's happening on the planet right now.
Yes.
Like I experienced, like you've experienced in your life through, many of your different things that happen. And that it's like a wave. It doesn't happen boom and then you're done. It
Right.
keeps coming back. So for
Right.
me, going through grief, the waves of grief kept coming back. And with each one, again, I could have been pulled under or got stronger and see the wave coming, know how I worked the time before.
Kind of like body surfing, right? How you catch that wave and you just got to kind of ride it and know that you're going to come back up. I love that. I
That's
love that
it.
metaphor. It's a
That's
real
it.
visual.
And I think as we're going into the second wave right now, there's this feeling for a lot of people, myself included. I first was like, oh no, here we go again. It almost feel like overwhelm. It's like that wave coming at you going, no, can't do it.
No.
Versus we've been here before, we're smarter, we know more. And that's not just collectively as society, science. I'm talking about each individual, what you did and what you learned from the last wave. And we all talk about the gifts that we got from it.
Yeah.
And can we leverage more of the gifts and mitigate some of the challenging parts of it for us? So that's where I think that there's an opportunity for us to see, and there won't be just one wave, there'll be multiple waves. I think of it though as calmer and calmer and calmer. Each one gets a little bit less, and each time we get stronger mentally, how we can manage through it, emotionally, how we can mitigate our fear, our anxiety, our anger, sometimes feeling shame. I heard something like there's now a term called social distancing shaming.
Oh, come on.
On the weekend, a friend of mine went to help an older man who was looking like he was going to fall down, going up to the cross of Mount Royal. And she was there, and he was looking like he was going to fall. She went to help him, and a whole bunch of people said, "You don't have a mask. You don't have a mask."
Oh,
so,
wow.
Social shaming. So he would have fallen down the mountain.
Yeah. Is that better, people? Oh my God. Yeah.
But we learn from all these things that we got to laugh at ourselves.
We do. Don't take it too seriously. Yeah. That's taking it over the top though. My gosh, shaming people when they're trying to help.
Yeah. So I really feel that experience for me helped me to be more resilient in this time. And then hopefully, I think anything that we go through, that we learn, we have an opportunity to share with everybody, with other people who are interested in learning and growing as well.
I love that. So don't get sucked into the story. There's stories are there. They do define us. I think Brene Brown's got a wonderful quote about something about stories that, stories are, but we don't have to let them control us. We can rewrite our stories with a new angle. We don't have to implode and just say, oh my God, this is too much. I love what you're talking about. And so we were talking a little bit before about, the fear to flow, and that people are picking up on a lot of fear. And it's like, oh boy, here we go again. What's this going to mean? Myself, I'm an officiant, and I have 4 weddings coming up in the
Well,
next
no.
3 weeks. And so I just spent the morning on the phone, between the government, and then phoning all the brides and saying, okay, here's some of the options. You can get married tomorrow. It's like, what, tomorrow? I'm not ready for tomorrow. But, so we're looking at all these, like, how can we just go with the flow? And how can we not get too caught up with the fear? And, last week I talked a little bit about my own fear, that I was feeling some kind of anxiety, and I was feeling fear, and I was feeling almost like a sadness, and it was like all these waves, and I was like, okay, is it my crap, or am I picking it up from the ethers? Is it collective consciousness? Is it, but I did share that what I did come when I got out of it, and I said, okay, let's take a look at what's going on. I realized that I had forgotten about my own morning routines, and that ground me. And that's where happiness and joy come from. You've got to work at it. It's a daily thing where you show up for yourself, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. And so for me, it's journaling. For me, it's walking in nature. For me, it's going to the breath. Like, there's different things that I do, but I was kind of forgetting that. So I was getting out of alignment with myself and my truth. So I was picking up on what was going on. But we don't have to be the problem. We can be part of the solution. So you had some great tips yourself when we were talking about some of your downloads that you get when you get connected. So you get great insights and inspirations, which we all can, by the way. People, like, when you're connected and when you're in your center, we do get these ideas from above and from the ethers, and they're designed to help us move forward on all of these levels.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I could step back for a second to explain how I got there, is that it really the connection between the waves again, and anyone who's gone through a cancer journey or something like that can relate to it. You get the diagnosis, boom, it's like a wave that hits you. And then you go through the different protocols, and they all are waves and different things you're trying to learn and trying to adjust to. And then, then you might end up going to palliative care, and then someone passing, and then the grief and the waves of that. And what happened with Bob was, I was fortunate that it wasn't a sudden death for me, in that he and I worked together the whole time, from when he was sick, and then he got diagnosed, and so forth. What we had happened to us each time, we would say, okay, we'd step back. We just got a diagnosis. First, we come out and we're just like, totally overwhelmed and sad and in just despair. And then we would quickly just help each other step back, and we would say, okay, how are we going to rally? That was our kind of thing we would say to each other. Meaning, how do we look at this differently? How do we act differently? How do we take this information and flip it? That was our thing together always. How do we rally? And each time, it got harder and harder. For a while, it was like going uphill as opposed to a wave, changing the metaphor a bit, but it's going hard. It's like, oh, really? How are we going to get over this one? And I remember the last one was when we came out of the hospital, and they said, there's nothing else we can do. And we just left, just totally dejected, going, we're on our own now. What are we going to do? And we came back, and we're okay, we got to rally again. Now this is then into a palliative, kind of transition. And how do we do that? How do we do it at home? So it was just that constant changing from, in that case, from surviving to transitioning and looking at that.
I've got goosebumps. Like, talking about, constantly just really trying to flip it and
re-look at it, flip at it,
and
happy in those moments, and his family. And then
amazing.
After he died, I remember that there was, I don't remember, after the funeral, everyone had passed, and something came up, and I was upset. I was like, how am I going to rally now? I don't have you to rally, And that was when I really first connected with him and started doing the channeling, as you were talking about earlier. Is that I heard it, his voice in my head saying, but I am here. I'm going to be here for you. And so that I kind of thought, well, maybe it's a memory, it's my idea, whatever. But for many people, when they lose someone close, it's their first time they really want to explore the unseen world, let's call it, the non-physical world. So I went into, okay, so is that real? And starting to explore it and starting to find my way. And that's where I started to do morning practice. I think it was, what's the name? The guy who wrote I sold my Ferrari, and
Oh, Robin
Sharma,
Sharma.
Marvin Sharma,
Yeah,
he
Robin
did the
Sharma.
5 a.m. club, which
Right,
was
that's
you get
right.
up early, you do like inspirational stuff, you do mindfulness, you do some exercise. So I did my own
Yeah,
kind of version of that through my grief and finding ways to connect to spirit. And for me, I think there's everybody has their own practice, but for me,
right.
it was writing, automatic writing, where you just write without editing, ask questions. It's not like journaling in the way of I was journaling a lot what happened to me and all the experiences that were happening, because my awareness was actually really expanding. And
Mm,
I was and seeing, when that happens, you see synchronicities, you're starting to notice things, and if you're open to them, they keep coming, and then you start
wow.
to get inspired by it, right? So that's where I started being able to connect with him and then talk to him. And I had the help of our friend who's also a channeler to help me see if I was on the right track or not, and to help me find out which was the right way for me as well.
That's
And that
incredible.
was,
Like,
yeah,
would you have considered yourself a really positive person before that? Or did all of
yes,
this,
yes.
okay, so you always had a very positive mindset. So
Yes, that
that,
helped me a lot. Yeah, I did
okay.
have a very positive mindset, always looking for the glass half full, and luckily Bob was as well. But I
Yeah.
think we can choose that too, as
Yeah,
we
yeah. I
go.
want to tap into that a little bit because some people say, "Oh, well, I just imploded and I can't see the good in it because there is no good." So, yeah, how do we get some people to say, but you're always at choice. So
Yes.
why are
Yeah.
you choosing that when you could choose that?
Yeah. Well,
Right?
and I see a lot of people who, grieve differently than I did. And I actually was in experiences in grieving groups where they were, and I
Mm,
didn't feel like it was felt very heavy and very victim oriented. I
right.
don't mean that was consciously doing that, but why me, and this, my life will never be the same, and all this. And I was like, I really felt that there's a purpose in everything. And Viktor Frankl's
Wow.
Answers for Meaning book really taught me that there's,
Yeah.
if he could find meaning in a concentration camp, and his wife was in another one, he never knew if he was going to see her again. I could find
Wow.
meaning in this. and
Yeah.
and he said that the most resilient people are the ones who find meaning in their struggle. So I'm saying all this now because people, so much of the world is going through this right now, what I've
Yeah.
gone through.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can escape life without that. And it's
Yes.
like that, I kind of kept, when I was talking to my guides and whatever, it's like back then was resilience training. You're like, and I got the metaphors. The metaphors is not a real thing. It's like you're growing your wings. And to me, what that
Mm.
meant, all spiritual beings were growing our wings through these process to fly higher and higher, to fly higher levels of dimensions and different ways
That
of
is
being.
so
And
beautiful. It makes me think of, sometimes we'll look at a tree and on the very top of the tree, we'll see this massive crow. And it comes and
mm-hmm.
it sits right on the top, say, of a pine tree. And we'll look up
Yeah,
and go, how is this massive bird sitting, on this branch? And then, so then the question
exactly.
is the bird not afraid that the branch will break? And it's like, no,
Mhm.
because the bird knows that his wings will fly,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it's like,
Trust that.
trust that your wings will help you fly. So tapping into your wings and knowing that all of this is building resilience. I love
Yes,
all of what you're saying, Lianne. Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
so true, and you're so positive. Just such an inspiration.
Well,
So,
thank you. And I think that coming back to the daily practice, because we were talking about how when we fall out of it,
yeah,
even for a week or whatever, we notice a difference. And so I hear a lot of times from people that they don't have time,
yeah,
and so
yeah,
a little amount of time
yeah.
that you start with, even if it's 5 minutes, and it's really best at the beginning of the day. If you wake up 5 minutes earlier, like Robin Sharma talked about,
Mm.
and that way it sets you for the whole day, but it actually gives you more time. And why that is because it calms you down. You're not as nervous, you're not spinning, you're more focused. It allows more inspiration. So I often, almost every day, try to ask for inspiration for the day. What should I focus on? So instead of doing 10 things all over the place, I get clarity. Okay, this is what you can work on that's going to have the biggest impact. So can you imagine every day, if you had more clarity like that, how much more time you would actually have, because you're focused on the right things for yourself.
Yeah, talk about a great beginning. Yeah,
Yeah.
something that I've been doing for a number of years now in the morning when I wake up, my first thought is thank you. And then I just, like, I bring in the breath from, from the ethers, from the universe, from God. And I feel this breath going through me, and I feel it tickling all my cells. And I see my cells kind of waking up and giggling. Like, what a great way to start the day. I mean, seriously.
That's
So if you don't get
fantastic.
joy from that alone, right? So yeah, it fills you up. Now your cup is full. So instead of like hitting snooze, and then, you bounce out of bed because now you're late, and you stub your toe, and you jump in the shower, and the coffee's not ready, and you're cursing and swearing, and you fly out of the house. I used to be that girl. Flying out of the house with my coat wide open in the middle of winter because I'm in a full sweat. It's like, what a crazy way to start the day. You're starting the day off in a deficit, so why
Absolutely.
not start it off with your bank full of joy and energy, waking up just even 10 minutes earlier, just to go to the breath for 2 to 5 minutes. Big, huge difference. It's so true.
Yeah, and it is so important that is a deficit. So you think about, you're trying to catch up the whole rest of the day
Yeah.
versus starting more full and more relaxed, and it giving you more time, and finding your own way to do it.
Right.
Trying different things. There's gratitude, there's inspirational things that you can listen to,
Right.
read, music, exercise, anything, getting into nature, like I do the automatic writing, prayer. There's so many different things. There's so many practices. If we just try one or two or three and see what kind of resonates with us. And then when we do it, the discipline is to do it for a few days, even though you don't want to. And then you start to feel
Right.
the reward. Once you feel the reward, it will get you back
Yeah.
up in the morning over and over and over.
It really will. It will, because your body will feel better, and you'll see the proof. The proof is in the experience of it. So you will see at the end of the day, like, oh, I got more done. Oh, I'm feeling better. Oh, I got some good ideas for dinner tonight. That's not going to drain me, or I'm even happier to get in the kitchen and cook, or, a big difference. Time is just a construct. So it either can spin us out of control because we're in monkey mind, or we can slow it down by just going to the breath and getting the clarity. And things do get done a hell of a lot simpler and faster than when we're spinning out of control. Yeah. So what's next for Lianne? So you have your business side of you, which is wonderful in that.
So I work on, a couple of different levels. One is with people in their careers. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess when we met first was you weren't sure exactly where you wanted to go next. You're at retirement. I always talked about refirement,
retirement, that's right.
Helping people figure out what's the next step, rather than, okay, I'm just closing up shop and that's it for the rest of my life.
Because I knew I would work till the day I die, because that's just who I am. But I wanted out of corporate, but I didn't know where I was going. And being a multi-passionista, I loved so many things. So you were great at just setting me down in a little bit and saying, okay, you can love all those things, but let's focus on one at a time. And I am very grateful to you. Yeah, exactly. Because again, if I'm spinning everywhere, I'm getting nothing done, right? So you were
That's the
awesome.
hard thing that we do. And thank you. And I think that the idea of stopping work and just doing nothing is just such an old concept. It's not healthy for people anymore. And we realize that if we can work to the, maybe people hear what you said, working through the rest of my life, and they go, because they're thinking of where they are now.
Yeah, well, not working at what you hate.
Zooming every day or whatever they're doing. No, they're like, no, but doing what they love, that will in their life will help them be healthier. And I'm the exact same way. So I like helping people with trying to figure out what's that next step for them in terms of their career. And then particularly if they are interested in starting a business, something that's their passion business, helping them to get it going and grow it as they go along as well.
You're brilliant at that.
And then really deepening, I'm really passionate like you are about spirituality and awakening. So that's often, they go hand in hand with both of those. A lot of times people will come to me because they're having kind of a crisis in their career or their work or their business. But it relates to their mindset. It relates to them expanding their awareness and seeing things differently. And so now I'm bringing some of that into companies and helping companies and employees with this kind of work, with mindset, and helping become more focused on what their real strengths are, what they're passionate, what brings purpose to them.
Fabulous. Fabulous. And that's what's missing from the corporate world, right? Is that humanness, which is what you bring, is that humanness. And when an employee, a happy employee, I always said, is a very productive employee. Like I flew off tall buildings, and I loved my job for many years, and then I didn't. And then
Yes.
I saw the difference.
Yeah.
I saw the huge difference, and I had my soul whispering to me, "Get
Yeah.
out."
There's an
Run.
alignment that comes with, you know, and we can end up getting moved into different positions, having different bosses and different things happening, and a company gets bought and sold and
Yeah,
everything like that.
yeah,
And right now, through COVID and lockdowns and all the challenges that companies are
yeah,
really struggling with, and there's been so much spoken about leadership, and there's so much spoken about culture in organizations and engaging and talent acquisition and What is not spoken a lot about is self-leadership, and that's what
yes,
I'm passionate about. And it's just, it's that idea of personal transformation that we're doing on our own, in our own life,
yeah,
but recognizing the impact that that can have in our on our teams, like the work team that we work with and the organization that we work with. So it's about having more of an evolutionary mindset, one that's
awesome.
open, that understands our limiting beliefs and so forth, and then recognizing where we're strong, not constantly working against the grain, but working more in alignment with what our passions
Right,
are.
right. Our inherent, we all have inherent gifts and strengths. So let's play them up. Let's play to them. And so when
And
we,
companies that know that and
yeah,
tailor their work to that, they're the ones that are on the forefront right now,
yeah,
recognizing.
yeah,
And so that, you know, it's being careful to meet people where they are and not being too out there and all that. But you can really bring, as mindfulness trend has really opened the door for all of this in organizations. And there's all kinds of organizations, right? There's business organizations, there's teaching organizations, there's healthcare. So this is opening the door, and I think there's going to be a huge change, evolution over the next 10 years
awesome.
about bringing the stuff that you and I and many of the people who are listening, the work that we do, but bringing it into more of these organizations. We had to do it first on ourselves, right?
Yes,
Into our
exactly. Yeah,
coaching clients. But
yeah,
now it's time to do it en masse. And
yeah,
the time of awakening is now, and it's
yeah.
really exciting. But we have to get through these waves, right? Okay,
Exactly, exactly.
here
Yeah,
we go.
yeah,
I
another
got my
COVID
snorkel
wave.
on. I'm ready to go.
So let's finish up. This has been great, Lianne. I could talk to you for hours. We talked about this.
Likewise.
Let's finish with the fear to flow, which was our
Yeah. Do you want me
subject.
to just give a little tip
And
that I
you,
use?
yes, you got that beautiful download, which I think everybody really needs to hear, and then we'll close her up.
All right, so it's just really easy if we look at anything that comes to us, like any wave, no matter what it is. And I just can use my finger, start with my first one is to pause. So you kind of think of like a T, you know, have a T, I'm
Mm.
going to pause for a moment,
Ah.
step back, you know, rather than just jumping in and getting crazy.
Yeah,
So we take a pause first, okay? And then we are then more in awareness, what's happening, you know. And I
mm.
like the ring finger because it's kind of our connection to other people, our relationships. It's
Mm.
so be in awareness with ourselves, be in awareness of others and what's happening around us, just noticing in that, you know, mindful, detached, observing state. Then the
Mm.
next one is intention. Is your intention this, the world? What
Good
is your real
finger.
intention? You know, what do you want to create? How do you want to react to this? Is it going to be out of anger or any of those
Mm.
lower ones, which sometimes we need to? Sometimes the mama bear has to get up and scream and yell,
Arr.
whatever that is. What is your intention with this situation? And then to look at what action, as a result of your intention, what action or inaction, you know, to
Mm.
kind of move you forward in life, what action or inaction do you want? So let's say, no, I need to actually pull myself away. There's this toxic relationship. I need to
Yeah.
pull myself away. It's kind of an action, but almost inaction. And then the last one is really to see the reaction. What happened when you pulled yourself away or you were inspired to do something? And it was, you know, was it a thumbs up or was it thumbs down? And then you
Ah, very
start the
good with the
process
fingers.
again, you
I
know?
love that. And then go
Yeah,
back to
so
the pause.
it's pause, yeah, awareness, intention, action or inaction, and
Action.
then reaction. And that,
Wow.
you know, just kind of, if you can think about that when you're in something that's coming at you like a wave, you can have a choice, you're more in a choice place of how to act differently than wave, boom, in there
Yeah.
and acting. And then
Yeah.
you come out afterwards with, ooh, didn't work so
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. The big thumbs down.
I
I
can't say
love
it
that.
always works for me on social media, but
Yeah.
I have to try better.
Yeah. Oh, here's the
What? They're
thing.
doing what? Oh my God.
There's always going to be those that will judge. And
Yes, exactly.
those are often the ones that aren't really being part of the solution.
Yeah, yeah,
So think about that, everybody,
yeah.
like before you judge another, are you helping the situation or are you hurting the situation? So why
Yeah.
why are we judging? Give it up. You know,
Well,
we have enough.
it's so important. And if I could just say one
Yeah.
other thing too about that, is that we're all in that action reaction thing. So we've skipped the first three, you know,
Right.
pausing, being
Right. We're
aware,
spinning.
having an intention. We're just boom in there. And so we don't always act in from our highest potential. And I'm, you know,
Yeah.
100% there myself. And then if we can change that a little bit, and what I realize is we just get into that reaction and we just get polarized, right? And if instead we can look at what's underneath that action reaction, it's usually some sort of fear, you
Yeah.
know? So let's say, for example, with COVID, a lot of people were fear about the disease. For me, I was fear about control and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, government you
Mm-hmm.
taking away control. So they're both fear.
Mm-hmm.
So when we can look at what the underlying fear is and work on that, that's
Yes.
what we can
Brilliant.
put more into flow, step above it. And if I don't fear control of government and all that,
Yeah.
other people don't fear the disease, whatever that
Yeah.
fear is for each one of us, fear of losing our jobs, income, kids, blah, blah, blah. We've got that.
Yeah. So
The
much.
more we can work individually on our own fear, we get into that buoyant place where we bow
Self
above the waves.
leadership. Self leadership.
Self-leadership,
That's right.
mindset, right?
Mindset.
Yes.
Lead yourself. You know, look at yourself as if you are the company, because you are, and your family is a business. They
Yes.
are. You know, so how are
Yes.
you running things? Are you running from fear or are you running it from a place of higher consciousness?
Exactly.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank
And
you
all
so
the five
much.
fingers, I'm going to remember that today, especially the intention. Go and set your intention.
Love it. Eh? That's great. And
It
if
is.
anyone wants to contact me, maybe I
Yes.
can just say on designingtransformation.com, or if you want to put it on your link
I
there.
will definitely put it on
I'll
the,
probably put it in the comments as
please
well, just
do.
coming up. But
Yeah, and I'll
thank
put
you
your
so much,
strategy
Sherry, for
that
this
you should.
opportunity. It's just such an honor
You're
and
so
fun.
welcome.
And Zena said giggles. We love to giggle. And that's such a
Yeah.
great way to raise our vibration and feel good
Yeah.
in these crazy times.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Bringing laughter to it. Levity always, always helps. Laughter is the best medicine for sure. So let's go and laugh today and have your cells giggle in the mornings. And a wonderful day, Lianne. Thank you. Great chat. I could just keep going. We'll get you back real
Thank
soon.
you.
Have
All
a
right.
wonderful
Thanks.
day, everybody.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.